God, who wants this one? Colin, I guess, firstly, how long's this been in the works in terms of, did Richie ever have thoughts of maybe a Moana Pacifica or something, or was it always easy to get him back here?
I think everybody else had thoughts of Richie going elsewhere, didn't they? But I think this is his place, his home, so it's pretty natural for him to come here if he can, and it all works out.
How big of a capture is this? I mean, in terms of a player of that echelon.
Yeah, we're stoked to have him. It's stoked to have him home. I think that's probably the big thing. This is a place where we try to make everybody feel like they belong, and so it's really nice when somebody chooses to come back to the place they belong. So I think that's probably as important as anything. So yeah, we're really stoked.
Rob, you're only signed on for 1 year at this stage. Were you looking forward to working with Richie?
Look, it's just so good to have him in the environment. Yeah, he's a great Crusader, and his legacy speaks for itself, and he wants to add another layer to that. So just wonderful to get someone of his calibre around the group. And he'll be in a different space, his maturity and his experience over the last 3 years, or the previous 3 years up in Japan, will add a lot of intrigue to the competition, but also add some really special flavours to the Crusaders in 27.
Do you get a chance to catch up with him when he's back?
Not this year. I'm not sure if he's back at the moment, but I will do at some point. Yeah, he's a good bloke. Like to.
He was back for the he came to captain's run before the final.
Yeah. Him
and Bryn under their caps, lots of humility, trying to get in without causing too much hype around them. Very, very humble, and yeah, great to have him back.
Can you just talk? Oh, sorry, Rob. Can you just talk firstly about the influences he's had? Maybe both of you can answer this question from different perspectives. But the influence he's had, despite even not being here. I mean, if you look at that clip before the final, he narrated a pretty spine-tingling piece of, and that went to the team as well, didn't it, Rob? So can you just talk about the influence I guess he has without being here?
Well, he's like a number of the past players here that we draw on. He's still passionate about the place, and him putting the boots on again and wanting to play for the organisation in 27 is, I guess, an indicator of where he sees the place, but also where the place sees him. But he's not. I guess it's not unique in that situation. Whereas we draw on a lot of past players regularly for inspiration and advice and support. So he's one of those, and a very special one of those.
Were you confident he would come back here when he left, Colin?
No, I think if he was going to come back, we always work hard on making this place a place that you want to call home. We try and bleed the culture out of the walls as best we can, and hopefully it gets into the skin and under the skin. And so we were stoked that he had a choice, and we're stoked about the choice.
Given last year what you went through at number 10, Colin Riley, Kohipa, but then now the development of the young guys, what a swing do you allow at 2027, potentially the trio of 10s you'll have? I realise that I think Rehan is only signed through 2026 at this stage, but just potentially what you'll have.
I'll let Rob answer the question, but before he does, personally I'm stoked that, Razor keeps talking about wanting to go 4 deep in every position in the All Blacks. Wouldn't it be awesome if all 4 came from Crusaders?
Rob, your thoughts just on the potential trio? They've got young White in the mix as well coming through, don't you? So how's it looking?
Well, we've got a really stable and developing group of 10s here at the moment, which is gold for a long period of time going forward. So the horizon is strong in that area for us, and we've got another young fella in Harry Inch who's percolating away underneath. And there's a couple more boys in the academy that are exciting. So Richie's, I guess, coming in 27, established, world class. The World Cup's in his sights, obviously, and his influence will be a little bit like Jock. Probably won't play every week. There'll be a massive amount of growth and development in the boys underneath, as you've said, James White, Taha Kimura, Rivers Reihana, if they're still all here in the stable, no reason why they can't get their rugby's needs met, but also experience some time with a great professional in Richie.
Will it be, speaking as if you're going to be the coach in 2027, but rotate, you say you wouldn't play every week, would there be managing him, or if he's playing well enough, why would he not be playing every week?
Because you've got really good talent supporting him, so you don't need to, potentially, I'm speaking, through into a crystal ball, I guess, at the moment, but you wouldn't need to, and that's what I'm sort of saying, there was, we all saw the value that James O'Connor brought and the ability to support and nurture, and I'm sure Richie, as hungry as he is to play every week, he won't need to play every week to be an All Black, and we can facilitate a lot of needs with him in the group, and when he steps back out, the legacy and the needs of the organisation haven't been compromised.
Just because you mentioned Inch, do you see him as a 10? I think did he play 12? I remember that pre-season game last year, or do you really see him as a 10?
Well, he can do all things, the young fella. So yeah, won't put any labels on where he can play at the moment, but just someone that's is we're excited about.
Colin, when you're negotiating with Richie, obviously he loves the Crusaders, but how much of that All Black World Cup ambition was the driver, do you think?
I think all that stuff's important to him. He's got nothing to prove as a Super Rugby player. He's got 7 championships, obviously, and he's got a couple of League One championships under his belt. So he's got nothing to prove as a player, as a Super Rugby player, and nothing to prove as a player. So I think we're about trying to build players to be great All Blacks as well, and so that sort of fits our brief as well.
Would it be fair to say you had to offer the biggest ever Crusaders contract to get him back?
No. We've got budgets and caps to operate with, Tony. So yeah.
Colin, is it relieving the timeline in many ways, given it's first week August 25 and we're talking about 27, just to put this to the side in many respects?
I think it's obviously big news. Richie coming home is big news for everybody, for Canterbury, for Crusaders, for the All Blacks. It's big news. So it's nice to get the news. It is a long way away, Nick, and I think we've talked about trying to plan too far in the future often before and being sort of caught short. So it is a long way away, but it's great to get the news, and good for Canterbury Rugby, good for Crusaders, and good for the All Blacks.
Was there any conversation about having him here next year?
I think he was already contracted and he's got another season obviously to do in Japan. So in terms of people breaking contracts and things like that, which I don't think is Richie's style, I'm not sure that was discussed.
But he finishes in May. The Super Rugby season is still going in May. Was there any chance that he could join it sort of halfway through?
No, we would do our roster work and stuff like that at the start of the season. To come back late and be qualified to play for finals, you'd need to have been named or played a certain number of games as a replacement player. So he comes back. He's available for Canterbury, for NPC, and then Crusaders the following season.
I know you can't speak from the All Blacks perspective, but do you envisage or see him playing for the All Blacks as soon as next year, at the end of next year?
You better answer that question, John. Do you? Yeah.
Well, Razor made it very complex on Monday. There's 7 guidelines I think they potentially have to go through, but I guess that would be on his radar if the World Cup is coming around. He wants to play as soon as possible. I would take it.
Yeah, eligibility, I'm sure they've thought those things through from an All Blacks perspective. It's not really, what we're thinking about is eligibility for Super Rugby and that sort of thing. So as I just said before, he'll be available in 27, and that's what we're planning on. So.
I know Colin said he doesn't have a point to prove, Rod, but does it excite you having a player that's coming back, World Cup year, pushing for the All Blacks 10 spot?
I think it's great for New Zealand rugby that he's back, someone of his calibre, adding to the depth, and it's the Crusaders will be embracing him fully and trying to milk every little bit of knowledge and inspiration from him while he's here. And as we said very similar to what James O'Connor brought to us, all that experience, wealth of experience, and he's part of the Crusader legacy, and he's coming back with that authenticity to the group, and the boys will love having him about.